Welcome back to Omni Garage. If you haven't caught the last video, we talked all about daily driving at WRX. Today we're going to head out and we're going to talk through 5 pros and 5 cons of daily driving at WRX STi. The first thing I like about the 2019 WRX is the technology. So that's broken down into 2 things for me. So having CarPlay as the infotainment system on the car is absolutely amazing. I love being able to plug my phone in, to have my maps, have my music, and I know that even in a few years' time, when the vehicle is a little bit older, normally with a standard infotainment system it would start looking a little bit dated. With CarPlay, as long as Apple keep updating that, I've got the latest and greatest. The other factor I like is the cameras. So around the WRX there's 3 cameras. So you've got your standard rear view camera, which is used when you pop the car into reverse. You've also got a camera that is right at the front of the car, so it's just under the front bumper. And you've got a camera as well on the passenger side mirror. So what that means is that when you put the car into reverse, or if you do hit the button on the dashboard, you're able to turn all 3 of those cameras on, and it means that you are unlikely to curb a wheel if you're paying attention to those. So the second thing I like about daily driving this are the convenience and the safety features. So that starts when driving at night. So it's got 2 really cool things that it does automatically for you. The first is the auto dimming rear view mirror. If cars are coming up behind you, you're not having to manually flick that mirror. The second thing is the auto high beams. So again, when you've got cars coming toward you, you're not having to flick your beams off, on. The car is taking care of that for you. It's also got auto wipers, which is not something I've had to use given this beautiful weather at the moment, but if it was raining, the wipers are going to come on automatically as soon as it senses rain. The other thing is hill start assist. So this is something that I didn't think I'd really use, but now having had it for a few weeks, pulling into my driveway, which is on a slight slope while I'm waiting for the garage door to open, I know that I'm not going to stall, but it also gives me confidence. If I'm driving around any hilly areas, I can pull away in first gear without having to worry about stalling. The third thing I like about daily driving this car is the sunroof. So sunroof wasn't high on the list of priorities when I was actually looking for a WRX, but now having it, it's absolutely amazing. I love being able to cruise around when the weather's like this with the roof open. But also what surrounds that is a dark headliner. So again, it's not something I've ever had on a car before, but it makes the interior feel so much more luxurious having a dark headliner versus a standard beige or white. The fourth thing I like about daily driving this car is the reason people buy these WRXs apart from the looks. It's the power delivery, so it's that boxer engine, and it's a 6-speed gearbox, which is why people go for the STi variant. So having the 6-speed gearbox with the 5th and the 6th gear with enough torque in those to pull away and still overtake vehicles is why I love daily driving this on the open road. And the power delivery is amazing. So I love hearing the sound of the boxer rumble on startup. It is a little bit quiet stock. However, when you do put your foot down and you're mashing through the gears, it sounds absolutely amazing. I love the power delivery, I love the torque, and I love the gearbox. The fifth thing that I like about daily driving this car, and one of the main reasons that I bought it, is the looks. I love sitting in the driver's seat, and while you can't see much of the hood scoop from the driver's seat, you can see the big table at the back. I absolutely love having that table. It makes me feel like I'm driving a race car. The other thing around the styling that I love on this car is the 19-inch wheels. So I feel like this is almost a sweet spot. I wasn't a huge fan of the 2015, 16, 17 wheels, or the newer 2020s. I love the black 19s on the 2019 model and how it contrasts against the green calipers. I love the way that this car looks. So the first thing that I don't like about this car is actually the way that you get into it. So while it has keyless entry, which is awesome when it's just me driving, if I walk to the driver's door and unlock the car with the key in my pocket, when my passenger goes to get in on the other side, the door's locked and I've actually got to unlock it by either pressing the button again on the key or by unlocking the car using the switches inside. Subaru offer no customization on that, so there is no menu setting where you can go and change the keyless options to unlock all of the doors on the car. The flip side of that is, yeah, you can use the key and double press, but if you've got your hands full and you've got passengers with you, it's really poorly thought feature. The second thing I don't like about the car is the lack of customization when it comes to the center display screen. So this is the screen that sits above the infotainment system, and you can cycle through screens. It shows you things like the boost gauge, a terrain setting, it shows you fuel economy, it has your cameras. You can mix and match on one screen there where you can choose to have a few different metrics showing, but it doesn't give you the full range that you actually get when you're flicking through the stock screens. For instance, something I want to see on here, I want to see a boost gauge, I'd really like to see a front view camera, and I'd like my fuel economy, but when I go and customize those settings, I can't use those three in a combination together. The third thing that I don't like about daily driving this car is the SI drive. So yeah, it is cool to have the dial and be able to change from intelligent to sport sharp, but all that does is changes the throttle mapping. So what I'd like that system to do, when I'm in intelligent, I'd really like it to improve the fuel economy more than just limiting what I'm doing when I put my foot down. If I want more acceleration, well, I can just put my foot down harder. So what I'd hope for is that intelligent was a really fuel efficient mode. With sport, yeah, it changed the throttle map, but I'd also like it to potentially stiffen up the car a bit before it goes into sport sharp, where I want the ride to be as stiff as possible, the throttle mapping and the engine mapping to be really aggressive. But in its current state, all intelligent does for me is limits what happens to the throttle when I put my foot down. The fourth thing that I dislike is I would expect for a premium car, this is the WRX premium model, that the interior fit and finish will be a lot nicer than it is. So while having leather is amazing, there's really nothing to offset it, nothing to contrast it. So what I'd really be hoping for is for some of the plastics to be replaced with some Alcantara, even if that was an option from the factory that you could choose for, let's say, an Alcantara steering wheel or Alcantara instead of the piano black trim surrounds. It just doesn't match very well. You're sitting in really nice leather seats, and then everything you touch and everything you see is plastic or it's piano black and it easily scratches. The final thing that I don't like about daily driving this car is when I'm loading up the boot, there's no logical place to close it. So there's no handle, there's no latch to pull on. Subaru have left that out completely. So it's really awkward. You're kind of left going, do I pull something on the inside? Do I push the lid down? Do I hold the wing? How do I close this boot? And I think for a premium model, again, even a standard model, that's pretty cheap that I've got to go to an aftermarket supplier like Perrin in order to close the boot logically. So there you have it, guys, the 5 pros and the 5 cons to daily driving a 2019 STi. Please let us know in the comments what you like about daily driving your car. Like, subscribe and comment, and stay tuned for the next Omni Garage coming up soon.